I want to welcome you all to Beneath the Surface here on Tobago Updates. You know, sometimes we look at life as politics and think it's all glitz and glamours and everything is simple, but thankfully here we will be going beneath what lies between the decisions that are made, the sacrifices, the challenges, and what really goes into governing this island of Tobago. And joining us on set this morning to kickstart the conversation is none other than Assemblyman Mr. Trevor James. Mr. James, good morning.
President, good morning, Mr. Tribb. President, good morning, Shenell. It's a pleasure to be on Tobago Updates, and maybe we can elucidate what has happened in the last 3 years and shed some light on
that everyone wants to know, and we are in year 3, and it's as though we closed our eyes, we blinked, and we're here one more year in office before we go to the polls again. And as you reflect on your time in office and all the projects that you would have done, what would you say is would be the mark of your term since you've been there?
Well, as Tobago public is aware, we came into office at the Division of Infrastructure, and we inherited a mountain of debt. We inherited a development budget that could not meet the needs of Tobago. And we had to come up with various strategies of how we improve and build out an economy and how we inspired the in-house staff to increase and improve their performance so that we could improve our delivery to the people. And essentially, it was not for us about one strategy, one project, but it is the entire system, the system that now we are seeing the division attempting and executing projects never seen before, where we have employed various procurement strategies to ensure we are delivering to the people. We had a decision to try to bring private sector monies into the public sector, construction sector, and essentially we've done that in some way. And so we believe that throughout the 3 years, we have attacked the basic things. We have continued the maintenance program. We have started touching and paving from year 1, something not seen before. We have built big projects. We have built small projects. We have tendered out projects. We have gone to design, build, finance as a strategy. And I think we are well poised to complete year 4 on a high.
And Mr. James, when we look at your division, it's very tangible. We can see the development when you drive around today. We will see that your division is doing the good. But I want you to walk me through that transition that you had. That transition from being, a husband, a father, a sibling, to entering into politics. People always think that it's something that's simple. Walk up yours through that transition that you would have experienced from being Trevor James to being Assemblyman Trevor James.
Well, it's not really a transition. I think I came into the politics, active politics, at the time because there was a dearth in candidates for a specific area. And I was asked to run by the party, then PDP, for an area that the past chief secretary represented. And therefore, it was seen as a difficult district to turn over. But for me, I stick to the basics. I think I have expertise in some areas, and I try to use that expertise to propel what I think is a goal that we want to achieve. And in this case, it was not as it were a difficult move. I think running a division, getting into politics is largely a management thing. It's being able to manage one's time, one's family, and be able to allocate time and other resources across the continuum that we call life. And so it wasn't as difficult as I think. It wasn't seamless, but the ability to use the expertise that I have to ensure that I am delivering for the people and also delivering for the family, it was critical for me. And I think I've been able to do that successfully.
All right, and as you reflect over your term in office, you have done a number of projects. Do you have any regrets? Are there anything that you would have done differently, specifically when looking at the limited amount of resources the TAG has been given? You have done the stage in the sea. Looking back, would you have done that again?
Everything that I do, everything that we try to do as a government is based on some strategy. I can't think back at one project that I would regret to do. Um, I don't function in regrets. I think there are benefits to everything that we do. The concept of building the stage in the sea. If you look at Scarborough, as you call it, we call it the lay-by in Scarborough, by the way, but um, as you look at Scarborough, there's just no road space in Scarborough. We have limited parking space, we have limited leisure space, and the idea of building a lay-by was to complement that dirt in parking space and leisure space and so on, but also to signal that there is a need for reclamation of lands in Scarborough. And so lay-by was a signaling to the public that a reclamation is required if we are to build the city that we want to build. And so, yeah, we did it. And it will remain as that symbol that we intend to reclaim lands from the sea. In terms of other projects, I think we have successfully implemented the design build strategy with something different for the THA. Of course, every procurement strategy has challenges, and we'll continue to encounter challenges, especially given the fact that we are in a relationship where we have a different party in Port of Spain, and from Port of Spain they have a different strategy, and there is a need, they think, to counter what we do and to create this atmosphere where we are challenged in achieving anything. But generally, we have moved the development team to a place where we are delivering big projects. We have brought private sector monies into the public construction through design build finance. We have improved the delivery of services through the maintenance program. Recently, we have procured significantly new equipment to support the goals that we have. We will therefore, by that action this year, reduce our dependency on the rent and lease program and reduce the cost to the division. Our goal is to reduce it by $15 million this year, and next year to reduce it even further. So that way we are bringing more money into the system to advance our cause and to purchase and acquire more goods and services in support of what we are doing. So
Right.
no regrets at all.
Okay, but would you have done anything differently, specifically when you're looking at that road that has been created between Sherva and going to Storby that Tobagonians have not yet gotten the benefit of?
Between Sherva and going to Storby.
Yeah, the extender, the connector road, sorry. Sherva and connector road.
The Friendship Connector Road.
Yes, that part of it that goes through the Friendship Estate.
Okay. Storby Local Road, you mean?
Yes.
No, I think, listen, there are different ways to build out a project. The world has moved, not now, for a decade or more now, to design build finance as a means of creating a single point responsibility and a means of fast tracking the construction, where you expect that the benefits would be where the contractor is responsible for the design, and therefore you would have certainly a reduction in variations due to design conflict between designer and contractor. That way you can start the construction without a complete design. We've seen it in the airport construction as well, where they have a design build project, and as a matter of fact, they only got the final approval September, October this year, which came from our town country planning public health system interview. So it is not a new thing. There are challenges along the way, but I think had we waited for full approval, we would have now been started. and that way we wouldn't achieve the goal of completing the project within the 4 years, which is what our goal was.
And, I mean, Mr. James, I want to speak to you about being an innovator, because when we look at some of the projects that are executed, it's the type of project that no one ever thought about, yet you get people done. But the challenge about being an innovator is that there are people who will try to stop your stride. They will start to stop your streak, and we have seen it in the media where people will try to attack you to slow down your momentum. So I want you to talk to me about how you navigate, or how was life navigating through all that pushback and all those setbacks that you face.
We have to, as Tobagonians, Luke, we have to come to the place in our minds where we have this attitude of moving forward no matter what. There'll always be talk, especially for the young people. You have to be of such a resolve that despite the circumstances you find yourself in, you keep moving forward. Talk comes as politicians. If you can take some talk, then you will do nothing, right? So it's not really about being an innovator. It's about trying to find a way to sell to the public, trying to find a way, especially to sell to the young men and the young women, that the next generation of leaders who are coming, that would say, hey, listen, nothing is too big or too large for us if we start and we persevere and we continue to do the right things, then we will be successful. So yes, we have attempted projects that are different because it's part of the strategy to impact the minds of the Tobagonian that, listen, in this space that we call Tobago, anything is possible and everything is achievable. And that is how we will continue to go. We will, so we looked at that removal of those 200 stairs in Moriah, for example, where if I remember one of the interviews, a guy was saying since 1960, everybody said the road couldn't be built. I was told about a gentleman who never walked on the stairs because he said he wanted a road, and he has since died before the road even started. He lived at the top of the hill, and he always walked on the side of the stairs because he says that he doesn't want to walk on any stairs. He wants a road to be built. And years of NAR and DAC and PNM has passed, and took a new party to come and say, listen, we can build a road there. So as part of the step removal projects that we are looking at, there's a set of steps in Speyside. We want to attack, if given the resources, and other steps in Mason Hall as well. Before Dalmore, up the hill that we want to remove as well, because at the end of the day, the taxpayer needs access for emergency and so on, and to bring relief to all those people like myself who have to tote blocks and sand and gravel up a hill to build a house that my parents and my siblings built a house when there was just no road. And so those are the kind of projects that we've decided to attack because we felt that if we are going to serve the people, that is one of the ways to do it.
So viewers, the conversation is really smooth, but we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Just remember to share the live, and we'll be right back. Alright, viewers, welcome back to Beneath the Surface, and I'm here chatting with Assemblyman Trevor James. And yes, viewers, if you can see, we are sitting comfortable this morning. Or sitting is sponsored by none other than Quartz. Quartz is located at the ground floor in the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago, and we want to thank them so much because without them, you would have probably been standing up in some hot sun. So thanks once again, Quartz, for making us very comfortable. Now, Mr. James, before we went to bring a bit of chatting about your siblings and the fact that you had to travel to help build our house, and I want you to walk us through your upbringing, growing up as little Trevor James, growing up. One day I would like to get into politics so I can continue to see others.
Well, for Trevor, the youth exists today. We had the freedom to walk to school, to run away every vacation, to go on the beach, to go by the neighbor mango tree and to pick mango. and to be scolded by any adult on the street for bad behavior. And so got from Plymouth, and he said that we had to walk two a stride, and anybody who disobeyed that rule, they would get a shit a licking the next day, because some parent would come to school and say, "Listen, Trevor was walking by himself on the wrong side of the road," and so the community helped enforce the discipline that some of the families could not, and so the whole single mother indisciplined child that we see now just didn't exist, because every adult male was a father to a child in the village, and every adult female was a mother to the child. You couldn't pass and not say Miss Shenell good morning. That was just not heard of. Nowadays we have children, parents going to school and looking to fight teachers. So we grew up in a different time. In our house, we always try to focus on education, and we saw that as our way out of poverty. And so you find that I'm told the stories that my father would set up in the night with candle and have help the bigger ones to study, just to be there with them in the candlelight, to make sure that they were doing their exams and coming first in tests. That was the goal for every James sibling that went through the house. So we had this desire to be the best that we could be, despite the poverty and despite the challenges, the lack of money and so on. So we in terms of being an adult, I never really had the idea of getting into politics. I think the bigger ones always were in the political conversation in the house. And in Belgarden, being a very political village, there's always a conversation from St. Eric and CLR and those guys of where this Tobago is placed within this union, and how we extricate or ensure that Tobago is getting a better share of the resources of Trinidad and Tobago. That was always a conversation.
Right. And previously, when we spoke a bit about some of the projects that you had before, you indicated that there are just certain things that you have to do to accomplish the goals that you set out to achieve. But what are the goals that you have set out to achieve for DIQUD specifically? What is the strategic direction?
The big goal is inspiring a nation to believe that we, the Tobagonian, can build infrastructure that is required for us to succeed. That's the big goal. The objectives are, of course, to get the staff to accept the responsibility for the construction. We inherited 4,000 or 5,000 staff members, and our goal was to try to get everybody to perform at the optimum and to buy into the idea that, listen, any project that we set our minds and our design acumen to do, we could do it. And I think in large measure we have done that. There's always the challenge of choice and resources and resource management and all of that. But that's part of the struggle that we have in the family. That is part of the struggle, where we have limited financial resources, and we have to make a choice between left or right and decide what we will give up today for better tomorrow. And so I think we have encircled the thing properly, and we have planned out the strategy properly. And like I said, the biggest strategy is to try to inspire Tobagonian staff members to accept that we as Tobagonians can build out this infrastructure requirements of Tobago and manage the resources that we have to the optimum where we can do that.
Right. And you have embarked on, I'm guessing as a part of your strategy, to repair as opposed to repurchase. You have partnered with a number of divisions, one of those divisions being the Division of Community Development, to go around Tobago repairing some of those sporting facilities and stuff like that. What type of resources are you putting into that department within your division to ensure that you can facilitate a number of those repairs around Tobago?
Well, I don't know if we're doing quite that, but the Division of Infrastructure continues to make its resources available to the people. And if a division calls on us to assist, then we continue to do that. We are assisting the Division of Education in the manufacture of school benches for the last 3 years, saving them a mountain of money. If the Division of Sports require our equipment and our services, we continue to do that. We are repairing the field in Mount Grace through our community effort, the division that is, and it is a collaboration with the Division of Sports. And so we'll continue to make our resources and our expertise available. I mean, across the THA, we at the division probably have the highest number of professionals, and we continue to make those people available. Our staff was involved in the management of the design for the Scarborough Sec tender and that kind of stuff. And so we continue to do that upon request. We can't insert ourselves in other divisions' business, but upon request, we continue to do that. We support the entire Tobago, with our resources, and we will continue to do that, not to cut off our nose and spoil our face, but we continue to do the best we can with the resources that we have.
Talk to me about the plans for Scarborough, because I think as an island we understand that the THA operates with limited resources. And coming into office, you have introduced to the Ghanaians an amazing plan for the port here in Scarborough to somewhat upgrade what we have. And I think it was an excellent plan, no matter whether people support you or not. It was something that people were willing to rally around as to be Ghanaians. Coming into here for the future, what can we expect to see where that project is concerned?
Well, like I said, the vision that we had was to look for an iconic project that would help the economy to be built out around. No doubt, building the port, enhancing the improvement of Scarborough as a city, will have and will build out a different Tobago. But we have taken the project as far as we can go. We have done the design. We did the feasibility study. We went out to tender. We had 2 international proponents who we negotiated with, and both who said that they would bring their own resources to do a full PPP arrangement with us if the government of Trinidad and Tobago issued a letter of sovereign guarantee in support of the project. It would cost the government of Tobago no financial resources, and the THA no financial resources. We wrote to the government and to the Prime Minister, who is Tobagonian so-called, and we got no response. And so essentially the project is stalled until we can get a government in Port of Spain who can support the vision that the people of Tobago have. Because, even if we conceptualize the vision, it no doubt in the history of Tobago, this is what is required. In the 60s, I'm being told stories of ships from the region landing in Tobago. And since this independence has taken off and so on, everything we buy, everything we do comes through Port of Spain in some way. And that increases the cost of production. It increases the cost of living in Tobago by 40-50% higher than Trinidad. And so you can't compete. You can compete in agriculture. If you go along the Esplanade now, you see these Trinidadians selling their produce in Tobago because it will cost them less to produce it in Trinidad. And so farmers are struggling. Our homeowners are struggling. We have a situation now where you can build a house using lend hand and using your own money and paying 30-40% more for it than the Trinidadian. But in the end, paying the same property tax as the Trinidadian. And so we have to find ways to correct that. And if we are importing directly, that's one of the main ways to do it. We can't live in a region where every island the size of Tobago can import directly and Tobago can't. Because we have this union that has been structured in a way to our disadvantage. And so the project is there, the designs are there, and we are still hopeful that that with a change in government and a change in mindset from Port of Spain, that we can build it out.
And as we are on project statuses, that road that we discussed between Shervan going through
Friendship Estate.
the Friendship Estate that goes on to
Tobago.
Tobago Local Road. What is the status of that project?
Well, as the world knows, this project was halted because the owner of the Kilwin Estate took out an injunction, essentially giving him time and giving us time to negotiate an arrangement. I'm happy to report that we have settled to an arrangement, and we now have an order that will allow us to start back the project. And so the injunction is essentially lifted, and the staff at the PMO are in discussions with the contractor to find a restart date. And my expectation is that before Carnival, the road will be finished and open, and then we can look at how we solve the drainage problem in Canaan, Bonaccord, because it means that we'll have to partially close parts of Milford Road through Canaan and so on. So in the way things are going, before Carnival we'll open the road, and if all goes well, of course, and we would have delivered on a dream, on a plan that has been in existence since the 1980s. You know, so in 2, 3, 4 years, a young new party, a young new government would have executed a project again that established parties could not or would not build for Tobago. And I want to say too that you can't move an economy and a country forward on maintenance projects. You can only do that on expending monies on development projects that would move the island forward. So imagine what can happen at Cove because of this new road and the movement of goods from the airport and from the seaport into Cove to finally begin to build out an industrial estate there. And that is the kind of infrastructure that we need in Tobago if we are to move the country forward, because maintaining the road existing, unfortunately or fortunately, does not do that. And we have to get into our minds that while we maintain what we have, there's absolutely a need to build new infrastructure, and that's what we intend to do.
Now, last year when we saw what was happening with you and the licensing authority, you came out and you spoke boldly about that. But you also indicated during that press conference that you were going to put yourself forward to go up for Tobago West in the general elections. Did you officially put your hat in the ring, and do you think that you would command the support from your party to be the Tobago representative for the TPP in that upcoming general election?
Well, Shenell, I think at that press conference I said I would make myself available to the people and to the party for either Tobago East or West, because I think we need stronger voices in the parliament. I think the solutions to our problems with the Tobago House of Assembly Act and with the way the jurisdiction in Tobago is managed, the solution is in the parliament, is from the parliament, and no doubt there is a need for stronger voices to articulate the Tobago position in Trinidad, and therefore I offered myself. Yes, I have been nominated, and the party will make a decision shortly, I believe. And hopefully I'll be selected, but if not, we'll support the cause of whomever is selected, and we'll move Tobago forward. But there is an absolute need to have representatives that understand the Tobago project, understand the Tobago vision, and who are Robinson and Murray went to the parliament in 76 in opposition. That is the kind of representation you need, strong, Tobago-centric voices in the parliament articulating to Trinidad, this is what the Tobago ideals are, and getting the Trinidadians to accept it. And I believe that I'm one of those strong voices, so I offered myself.
What's next for Assemblyman Trevor? Meaning, when you close your eyes and try to envision your plans for Tobago, where development is first, especially for what are you seeing for when you sit and think about what next can I do for the island?
Well, the first goal now is to finish the year on a high, finish the term on a high. So we will at a division put in the public space in the next month or so the paving and patching schedule. We have developed a series of road infrastructure in and out of Scarborough. If we get the resources, we'll at least build one or two of those. But certainly we'll present the projects to the people and have the people buy into the vision of where we see this thing going. And hopefully with that buy-in, we get the support going forward for another 4 years. Me personally, I believe that it's not about Trevor James and my vision, it's about the team. And as part of the team TPP, we will continue to support the strategy of inspiring the Tobagonians to think big. You know, creating the greatest little island on the planet is a big thing. Improving our GDP, improving the way we think, but also coming up with the change management strategies to move that mindset, move that culture that has developed where everybody is too much of us is looking for a morning 2-hour work, because you know we can't build a nation on that kind of employment, and so we need to create the environment as part of the big picture to have the individuals, private sector invest money in various business ideas in Tobago, and hopefully take away some of the employment responsibility from the THA. And we must inspire the young people to be successful when they go to school, to focus themselves on improving their own goals and their own family position by being the next generation of innovators and developers and workers, and get out of this malaise of just going to school, doing nothing, come on the block and roll to weed and smoke it and have children out of wedlock. And we must build this thing holistically, and that is the goal that we have. It's a massive Tobago project, and we have started and we are on the right path.
Excellent. Well, guys, we're going to take a quick break right here, and we're going to be back right after this. See you soon. Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Now, if you are just joining us, then that is too sad, because we have been having Beneath the Surface right here this morning, live from the Scarborough Esplanade, specially sponsored by Courts Furniture Store. Now, we are sitting on some very comfortable furniture, and if you see anything here that you like that might just look really good in your living room, you know to go down to Courts at the ground floor at the Port Mall, or at the branch down at the Gulf City Mall in Lowlands. Now, we continue our discussion as we kickstart Beneath the Surface, and this morning we are chatting with Assemblyman Trevor James. Now, we spoke about a number of topics this morning, but when it comes to your political standing, you indicated previously that when you first ran, that the PDP administration reached out to you and asked if you could have run for the seat, but now you have switched from PDP and the party is now TPP. And having built out the structures of the party and having these party groups and stuff, do you believe that you would command the same support for that upcoming election and you would again be the representative for your area?
Well, that is my hope, Shenell. I've gone to the public early to say that I've offered myself. the party will decide, no doubt, and one would accept the decision of the party. But I believe that I have a good chance as anybody else who would have been nominated to be the candidate for the election. And that's as much as I can say.
Mr. James, who we have officially ended of this morning's conversation. So I want to thank you for sitting in the Believe the Selfish chair. And to wrap up, I just want to ask this question, probably a question that we ask all the executive members and things that are really thought-provoking. When you think about Believe the Selfish, what thought does that invoke in you in terms of the sacrifices you have made, the decisions you have made to really navigate being Assemblyman Trevor James? Because earlier, Adana and I, we were speaking and we highlighted that being a politician, people oftentimes feel that more than human beings with real lives and real families and feelings and emotions. So, beneath the surface of Assemblyman Trevor James, what does that mean to you?
When you, as a media host, conceptualize a program, I think it is the media's responsibility to sell the concept. No doubt, as a secretary, I almost said minister there, Shenell. As a secretary in the THA, it is our goal and my goal to report to the people as often as we can, and this program allows us an opportunity to report, to explain some of the rationale behind the decisions we take. And so the public becomes aware of why what has happened. And so no doubt every member should take the opportunity to come on board and to allow themselves to be interrogated as to why a decision was taken, why decisions were taken, and to explain to the public how we are going to go forward in the next year. I think one of the questions I anticipated was that didn't come was what are the plans for 2025? And just to say to the people that we have gone on our retreat and we have restructured the plans we've had that we submitted as our budgetary submissions to Port of Spain, and we've come with 44 projects in 44. And at the division, we've had 4 major projects which the THA has decided to support, and we will continue to try to achieve those. Those 4 projects are, of course, to finish the road through Friendship, to develop a drainage solution for Keenan Bonaccord, to complete the rehabilitation of Sangsters Hill and the connection to Smithfield along Light and Life, and to do Bad Rock Phase 1. And those projects will roll out among the other projects that we are doing at the division, to complete some of the works we have started, and hopefully to make the people of Tobago more comfortable as they interact with infrastructure that we've built.
Excellent. Now, we want to thank you so much, Assemblyman Trevor James, for your time this morning and for not only allowing us to hold you accountable, but holding yourself accountable for the time that you have spent in office. And we look forward to your continued success in your role in trying to accomplish the goals that you and your administration have set out to accomplish. Now, we want to thank you, the viewers, this morning, and we also want to say a special thank you to Courts for providing us with this very, very comfortable furniture, allowing us not to have to stand in the sun this morning, Luke, don't you think?
All right, so you're on the thank you once again for joining us. And I don't know if you could go to our white shirt so they can see how comfortable these chairs are. But
can they?
Yes,
yes.
So you will end the show just reclining and having fun here. You want to thank once again, want to thank you, the viewers, because without you, we would not be able to have the conversations that you want to have. So, viewers, that was Beneath the Surface with Assemblyman Trevor James. You will be able to hear the plans, and you will be able to show a more human side to the politicians here on the island of Tobago. So I want to thank you once again, and stay tuned this entire week. The coming weeks will be sitting down with every executive council member to show you what lies beneath the surface of really governance. So I'll see you all next week.